And the
podcast
begins with a song of rebellion.
How can this
podcast.
be my life?
CD Burners.
I think we're going to try and steer this to just Taka and myself.
Of course.
And Rob is totally, obviously, very cool to chime in because he knows everything about what we're talking about. But I think what we're trying to do is kind of want to learn about a little bit about you and learn a little bit about like your influences. And I'll tell you, welcome to the show, Taka.
Thank you.
This is
Appreciate it.
CD Burners. Usually what we do on this podcast is we do it like a deep dive into an album that was really, really influential to us. And, you know, Rob hit me up and was like, Taka's in town. I was like, we gotta make this work.
Right.
What album does he want to do? And we're like, let's do American Idiot.
All right, let's
Green
do
Day,
it. Yeah.
You know?
That's my like generation albums. Yes.
Which is, you know, and who better to have here than Rob to like correct me on anything and ask some questions, because honestly, I think what would be really fun for our audience is to listen to your experience with the album and punk rock and music in general growing up in Japan and how it's influenced you with your band One OK Rock.
Right.
But usually what we do is kind of give a ton of facts about the album, which I feel like if anybody's watching this and they don't know what American Idiot is, this is not the podcast for you.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's do this.
Okay.
Taka.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes,
Are you ready
I'm
to
ready.
rock with me?
I'm ready. Yeah.
You ready to rock with me, dude?
Yep.
Okay, because I'm stoked. All right. So when did you first hear like American Idiot? Like how old were you? And when you heard it, what were you like? What stood out about that album?
I think it's that time where I was still student something. I don't remember actually exactly when I was like, you know, how old. But like, you know, I used to listen to a lot of like emo and punk rock music stuff in Japan, which means like, you know, that time was I couldn't speak English at all. So like, just always like when I checking like emo songs or like punk rock songs, like just to trying to like figure out melodies and like, you know, the sounds, that's it. So it's kind of like a boy way. I think it's the girls always like take care of like, you know, the lyrics.
The
I think.
lyrics, yeah.
The boys doesn't care actually sometimes.
You're just like, so when you were singing them back, were you just saying what you thought they were saying?
I just trying to like, you know, memorize a whole like them English, like a song melodies, then try to like go into the karaoke or something like then just sing it. But I think I was like really shocked from like American Idiot because like I thought it was Green Day is like totally punk rock band. But when I first time listened to the album was actually, I don't feel just a like on punk rock band. There's something like different, I feel. So that's why like I really got shocked. What is this exactly? What should I call this like album? Which means like came from like punk rock band. You know, Green Day is a legendary like rock band. But so like I don't know why, but like whole melodies and like the simple the punkish kind of like the chords, everything, it makes me really excited. But I don't know why. But like that was my like first impression, I think.
I think that's music in general, right? Like if you listen to music and you're excited and you can't really put your finger on it, you're like, oh, this is for me.
Yeah.
Like this is for me. This is my thing. And you know, American Idiot in particular, like I was always been a Green Day fan since they came out. I loved Dookie. When I heard American Idiot, I was like, oh, this is different. This is doing something different.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like it is my generation's Nirvana's Nevermind.
Yeah.
Like it did for punk rock what I think Nirvana did for like alternative rock.
Right.
But you came from pop, right?
Yes.
And this is where it's going to get interesting for me because I'm so unaware of the culture.
I mean, actually my the parents is both is a singer, like Japanese country type of music they do it. So I'm not really used to like really punk rock music when I was little. But I was in a boys group actually when I was like 13 to 15. And after, I quit the boys group band, like, get started this band. So like I was really like focused to do like listening like whole American rock music, whole like British rock music, something like that. So like it was pretty new to me, but I feel like angry and like broken, something like, kind of like if you listen some of the words, like it seems like kind of negative words, but like that negative words was like that time was to me really like comfortable because like I think it's something like I'm in the struggle or something that time. It was like a tough time to me in my life. But like when I listen to this whole like rock music, it makes me like something give me emotional and energy something. So I decided to move to like, rock music.
Did your parents like when they heard what you were listening, did they hear what you were listening to and were they like
J-pop?
But like when they heard American, like when did you like ever, the moment you were like, all right, I'm switching from pop to I like albums like American Idiot.
Yeah. And also the American Idiot was like totally pop for me. The melody is also catchy. So when I met first time with the Rob, actually, I had so many questions for him because like I'm very curious about like how you guys made it this album. So I was like asking for him like what is exactly called this album. So he said like this is opera rock opera. I don't know which one is you said, but like opera, it means like kind of not the rock music. But when I heard that words, like I'm very comfortable because like the melody is really gorgeous and the still punk rock albums, but something like different and especially like when September ends. When I first time listening to that song, I got really like shocked. Like usually I thought like rock band is not really doing ballad songs. But the when September ends, Wake Me Up September Ends was like very ballad songs, but I'm also very emotional. The music video was like, the some of the guy decided to like go to the war. But actually behind the scene, the lyrics is like they're like writing about his father or like family situation or something. So when I know about that, the songs, like truly, I was like, I couldn't say like anything. Like I don't know how to say like explain about my like feelings that time. So
it's really interesting to hear the way that you talk about music in general and especially punk rock, right? Like it is, you're right. It's not punk rock. It's not like totally punk rock. It's like when I listened to that album, I was like, this is just beautiful music.
Yes.
Like I was like, this is just beautiful music. I think what was really interesting about it is that coming from the albums that they put out before and then hearing what they did with that and what they did with Rob, you didn't hear punk rock bands putting out 7-8 minute songs that changed 5 times in a row, or like you just didn't hear that.
That's crazy.
You just didn't hear it.
I know.
And
I thought it was like just,
different tracks. Yeah, I did too. The first time I heard it, I thought it was like different tracks.
Exactly.
And I think that that's like what that album did for, I don't know. There was a couple of years, man, where that's the only thing that I played. That was the only that influenced. I know that influenced Fall Out Boy and Mike Hem and like all of these bands that, were a little bit closer to my age. And so I was studying bands like Green Day. This album in particular, like was so important in my life. And I'm wondering like how it was translated over there. Like, was it big over there? Did your friends like this? Did you guys do the same thing that I did? Like go in a car and like sing it with your friends and drive around and like know all of the lyrics. And what was that like for you over there?
I think I was like just watching over again music video all the time. It's like, you know, in Japan, now it's getting better, but like that time was 10 years ago, like, or 15 years ago, we don't have any like, you know, speaking English like cultures actually. Even still, like now, if you go into the Japan, it's actually harder to find some like, you know, like English speaker people from Japan. So for me, still like that time where it's like harder to understanding the lyrics, the whole like, you know, the theme, everything. But I think with my band members and pray over again like music video and like make it louder, you know, like maybe like next right next to the like room person's got fucking mad, you know,
Yeah,
because like
yes.
what are you guys fucking doing
Yes.
over there, like. But I feel like that's the punk, you know, that's the kind of like a rock vibes I feel. So I think it's the, for me, American Idiot is like makes me or teach me what is exactly punk rock, you know?
Does you know were your parents were accepting when when you're like I'm doing rock music? Were they pretty supportive?
Actually, I left my house when I was 15. So like I had a not really good relationship after when I left my house, like with the parents. Also, my parents got divorced like right after when I left my house. So like, um, you know, both of the professionals, so like they know about like how much, you know, harder to successful like with the singer in this world. So that's why, you know, I'm trying so hard to like focus to this band. And after a few years, actually, like this band is getting better, like get little like good sales in Japan. So after that, so my parents is just like, you know, you did a great
Yeah,
job,
like
something like that.
once they
Yeah,
see
yeah,
it,
yeah,
they're
yeah.
like they can't deny being like, all right, I guess do fucking
Yeah,
alter, do rock, you
yeah.
know? It's funny that you like talk about them splitting up
Mm,
because and also why we're doing this album in general and why I have the company that we have. It's
mm,
like these, you know, a lot of the songs that I grew up listening to, a lot of the subject matter
okay.
that they talk about in these albums is really about growing up.
Mm,
It's about growing up.
mm-hmm,
And it's I didn't know that about your parents. And so the fact that you're like, yeah, they split up, started liking rock music, like
mm-hmm,
all of that tracks. And I
mm.
think that the similarities between what we go through here and what go, you know,
Right.
it's universal,
Yeah.
which I think is really fucking cool. You
Mm-hmm,
know, like I do think that that's cool that punk rock music has the ability
mm-hmm,
to do that
mm-hmm.
all over the world.
Right.
So let's bring it back to American Idiot and you.
Mm-hmm.
When you heard, you know, we talked about the song, like the, I haven't talked too much about it, but
No,
like
it's
when
fine.
you heard this album and you met Rob, you're like, all right, how do I do what they're doing with my band, but not do that? What were
Yes.
some of the things that you took from that album production wise
Mm-hmm.
and applied it to One OK Rock, but in your own way?
Um, I was like actually very not 期待するってなったっけ expecting for Rob actually like the sound, because like, you know, it's also at the same time I got shocked from like the American Idiot sounds. That's like super rock but super clear, and like everything's like can see drum sounds, bass, guitar, very simple but very clear, and then like very loud. It sounds like loud, but actually it's not a too loud. So like for me, this sounds like a very beautiful everything. So when I met with the Rob, I was offered to him like, you know, can you make it like exactly like Green Day sounds to like One Ok Rock? So he said like some of the tracks show me like good amps, like good small, like, you know, like everything's like systems, like show me. Then on, I'm trying to like writing really good melody first. Then he's gonna like, you know, something like,
Tune it, like
yes,
get it to
yeah.
that place.
And also he have a really good sense about like cold stuff. You know, he's like really actually musician. He's not a like exactly producer. He's like a musician. So like we can have a really good conversation in a studio, like for some of the ideas, you know. he showed me like some of the different codes for the melodies. So that actually like feels kind of like really, the comfortable, and also like it's so much better. And
So actually, a question for Rob. Since Rob is here, we haven't really talked to you so far because I feel like Taka and I have been kind of getting into it. But so when Taka came to you and was like, this is what I want to do. And, we can't, they have something very special. They have something very unique, different, but you're like, here are the influences. How did you take what Taka showed you and what he wanted it to sound like and make it to that one OK rock sound?
I could answer that in a half an hour, but I'll try to do the 30-second answer, which is that I remember we went to a restaurant, and because my process is to make the band always sound like the band. I want it to be the most one OK rock it can be, right? Or the most Green Day, or the most Dave Matthews, or the most whoever, right? So I pull out a piece of paper and I have this long list of like 20 questions that I ask the band, and I write down their answers. And when we're done with that, I turn the paper around and I show it to them and I go, you just defined your album. And it tells me about like what kind of influences they want, what kind of sounds they want, but it really lets me into their soul and what they want for this album and how they want it to hit the kids, and how they want it to pay respect to, let's say, American Idiot, but not be American Idiot, right? Because it's not gonna be. Every band is original, every record is original. So I remember them saying, oh, we've never done that before. And then I go in and I just basically, without them really knowing it, I'm doing what I think they want me to do, what they said for me to do, what they asked me to do.
What was
I'm really reflecting them.
What was like I guess working with Taka, and what was like the biggest difference between working with an artist who's, so nice, so polite, and then
thank you.
We've got, these, I'm sure Green Day is also so nice, so polite, and amazing guys, but like they, I know I've seen shows from them when they were younger, and I know they're like rowdy guys, and I know this vision, and like, what's the difference between working with an artist like Taka and an artist like Green Day? The main difference.
It's really, you're going to laugh, but it's not that much, because here's what happens. When you go in to make a record, it's like the band and the producer and the engineer and some of the tech people that are around, and we become like a crew. We become a gang. And the gang has a force, and we're all teammates, like we're on the same team. And I'd say the biggest difference is that we have better food. with One OK Rock, the best food is with One OK Rock. But we have Japanese chefs come. It's absolutely amazing. But I will say this: the conversations about the music, the execution of the music, the performances is actually very similar. We're trying all, like as a team, to do our best, and that feeling is the same. And I tell you this, we have a lot of fun. That's probably the most thing. We'll make, we have Smash Burger night, we have crazy guitar solo night, we have when Tomo's doing the drums or Trey's doing the drums, we're really concentrating on these very intense performances, and everyone's there to support it. I actually think that if anyone could be a fly on the wall for what that actually feels like when the album is being put together and it's being built, that magic is, we're searching for that magic that the people are eventually going to hear. It's really exciting.
Rob, I want to know what drew you to One OK Rock in the first place. Like, what did you see in this band and Taka and all the guys, because they are special, and it takes somebody to really grab that and mold it into something and see the vision for it. What did you see in this band?
Oh man, I'll tell you this. As the guy who's been an A&R guy, like I was in bands since the age of 14. and I quit when I was 18. So I've seen literally thousands of bands. I've been an A&R guy at Warner Brothers, at major record labels, all kinds, seen bands come and see them go. And what happens is it almost feels like God picks 3 or 4 or 5 guys to come together, and it becomes a whole. It's the way they attack their instruments. It's the way their faces look. It's the way they sing. It's the way they write. It's the way their worldview is together, how they perceive the world. And so I was lucky enough to get a call from Taka and Jamil, and they were like, "Come to Japan. We want you to see our show." So I said, yes. This is right before COVID. And they were playing 2 nights in Tokyo. And I went to the first night, and I had no idea. I can't even tell you guys. Like, it was 10,000 times better than I thought it would be. And I remember just watching this band, and I could tell the difference between their older songs, which was more punk rock, like original punk rock style, and then the newer songs, which are had a little more gloss and a little more sheen to it, but the messaging was always great. And I thought to myself, this is amazing. And so they didn't expect me to come back the next night, but I came back the next night to the next show. I had to see it again because I was blown away. And they were like, "You're jet lagged, you're tired, be here." And I was like, how could I not be here? This band is you guys are so great. So it's really that combination of the rare thing that just happens when somehow the right people come together. And these 4 guys are perfect.
I really do love that explanation, because I believe that to be true. It's the right time, right place, right people. And I don't think that that's anything that you can plan for. And, I feel like that is, bringing it back to American Idiot as well. It's like, you couldn't have asked for more perfect people, more perfect time, especially in the world when that album was made, and the right people. Like Rob getting Rob to put this together is like, and so I'm really, really excited to see what you guys do together, because I think, not just saying this because he's here and I look up to him, but whatever he touches seems to have a special thing. He's got that thing that you can't teach. You just have to have it. Right. And I think the people that he chooses to work with also have that, which means that you got that thing. Yeah. So now I want to bring it back to you a little bit. Like, what's the biggest difference that you've noticed in American punk rock and Japanese punk rock bands? What's like when you come here and you see these artists play, and when you go back there, when you see these artists play or work with them, what's like the biggest difference to you?
I think it's like Japanese band is always, especially for punk rock band, like definitely they listen to a lot of like American punk rock music. So a lot of like, got a reference from you guys. But I'm also, culture is totally different. Language is totally different. But I think it's the punk rock it's like soul, I think. It's not the music about it. Like I think it's soul. So that's why even like different culture, different languages, we can connect with each other. So that's the most beautiful thing is about the music, even like not only punk rock music. So like, the Japanese, definitely we have kind of like original style of like J-rock or J-pop or something. But when I was little, before they get started this band, like I always like look up the American bands and UK bands, something like, but it seems like a very natural, like Japanese rock band is like, the Japanese culture is like all the time, fucking on time, even like a train, bus, everything's like Japanese people are always comfortable to about, and follow the rules.
Yeah. You guys were 2 minutes early. Yeah, I was like, all right, maybe even in LA, you somehow managed to be 2 minutes early.
That's a Japanese culture.
Awesome.
So like, that's why it doesn't fit to the actually like rock music. Rock music is like, rock culture is like a more love. So I think it's the Japanese people, or some of the Japanese people, which means like really love like rock and roll culture, they really wants to follow like kind of like more free, more like, to not thinking too much, you know, like if you in a struggle or like stressful, come something like that life, like you can escape from that, or we can like having same group, like, you know, and singing together. Like that seems like kind of really cool.
It is really cool because, you know, the way that I grew up with punk rock was the opposite. It's completely unorganized. It's dysfunctional. It's out of control.
Right.
Right. It's chaos. And the fact that, you know, you're hearing this in your culture and taking it and kind of controlling this chaos.
I think so, a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, like it's harder to, the Japanese people is also really shy. So it's harder to like, you know, like open everything, minds and open my heart, everything. So when people like Japanese people, when they got drunk, they can open everything.
Right.
But I'm right after the next day, get hangover. One more time, like go back to like just very shy person. So,
How did, like, you know, you have to do this thing that is, you know, I think growing up and listening to this music and doing this, what we do, I never planned to be a DJ in front of people. Was this like, this is what you wanted? This is what you wanted to do. You wanted to perform in front of people and to share your songs and like how you feel in front of hundreds and thousands of people, and millions of people across the world. That's like what you wanted to do.
I mean, actually, I don't have any confidence about when I get started this band. Even like when I was like, you know, the boys group. I don't have any comfortable. I mean, not confidence actually. So I'm trying to get better because like that's the only prove it about like I'm here. You know, like my life was like kind of really complicated sometimes. Also like family issues, something. So like, there's no way actually. Maybe you know in the U.S. too. Like if you born from like very famous like people from there, you know, the people that around your people like definitely like sometimes like talking about shit or something. You know, it's hard actually like it's hard to life already get start like if you have like a really famous like parents.
Nobody ever talks about how difficult. I mean, look, it's like a grass is always greener situation. I think it's a not like a when people look at people who were already born with this thing, they think that they have no struggle. And I've always kind of viewed it as the opposite.
Right.
Where like you are looked at as somebody who should be or have the ability to do these things. Everything is given to you, but that never is looked at as the pressure on that person to do that thing that they makes them themselves because they're attached to that forever. So it's a hard spot to be in. And I like kind of got to give it to some of these artists that were born to very famous people because they have a lot to live up to. Like that's a lot. It's a huge amount of pressure.
Yeah, totally.
To do. And
people definitely like expecting about like, you know, how he growing up or something. So if I did something, just one mistake that people are going to talking about just one mistake, but people having always like having mistake, right? So like, that's a kind of feel pressure all the time. So sometimes I want to escape from that, but that's our life. We can't escape actually. Like, so that's why like the rock music helps me a lot. Also like American Idiot and like also Welcome to the Black Palette. Like everything's like makes me like, okay, I think I can get it or something like, you know, be honest, like just, I feels like kind of finally this is like what I want.
It's really strange that, you know, we get to sit here and talk about this and we get the guy that did those 2 albums to sit here and just kind of listen to us talk about how much those albums changed our lives in like that way that we can listen to those albums and be like, shit, maybe I can do this fucking thing. Maybe I can do this thing called life.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe if these guys can do it, if they're talking about these similar things, like, you know, might be all right. When you were listening to American Idiot for the first time, you know, they're dealing with some pretty, it's actually a complicated album to understand.
Yeah,
like even
totally.
for me, I'm like fucking, all right. So this is a rock opera. There's two people. There's different scenarios, but he's also talking about his dad. Like for me, it's even a little bit difficult to like put all those pieces together.
Mm-hmm.
How are you, like when you were listening to it, at what point did you start putting it together? What these songs were about, especially like, they're talking about like war. They're talking about our political America's political climate.
Yes.
Like, not gonna lie, I don't know shit about what's going on in Japan. Like, I have no idea. If you said a name of somebody who is I don't know. And so, how are you? At what point do you transfer from being like, I feel this on emotional level to understand this album? When did that happen for you?
Yeah, definitely like this, the American Idiot have a lot of like political stuff. I heard some of my American friends said like, when this album comes out, like kind of like not a younger generation, older generation says like, this is too much talking about political shit. They're really worried about like kids going to the Green Day concert and singing like political lyrics, something like that. But that's the revolution. So like we just released a new album like on this year. It's called like Detox, which means like I have really really like like a reference from like American Idiot, because like it's still like a Japanese young people like doesn't know about like if they give a shit about like the Japanese government or like political stuff. I think it's the same here, right? I mean, maybe more sensitive, I think, but if some of the artists trying to like talking about political or something, like even like don't understand lyrics, if one stadium shows something or touring, people are gonna singing together, raise their hands. That seems like totally agree with the like their opinions, like even like a political something. That's the actually really really for me, like it seems like there is actually the people still believe about like power of music. Then the power of music is sometimes got changing a lot of things. That's the musician job for me. So like when I first time listening American Idiot, that time I couldn't like don't understand the whole things, but on few years I got learn English a little bit and I can have a conversation with American people a little bit. And now I finally understand the whole lyrics. Oh shit. This is like a lot of like,
Well,
like,
dude, it's not even like to be fair, you are probably one of the better speaking guests than some of my most American. Yeah, you're doing. Dude, I would have never guessed that this is like a, like it's
really?
just, yeah, you're awesome, dude. It's like I was coming in being like, all right, this is probably gonna have to like look over it. We haven't looked at this dude once.
I know.
Like, yeah,
I think you're the good interviewer. That's why.
Let's go. You guys hear that? You guys fucking hear that shit? But it's like I would have never. It's amazing. And so it's not only that you're understanding like the lyrics, but like the content of the album. It's like so you can understand a word. Like I know words.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what some of them mean, and they might mean something. It's just like in music, right? Like threshold means something different in music than it does in life. And I can't imagine like the barrier that you've had to kind of go through to understand American Idiot. And like, so I don't know, just my hats are off to you for also picking this album to talk about, because it is pretty a deep one. There's a lot to it. And I like that we didn't cover the details of it, and we covered like your relationship to it and how it relates to One OK Rock, as opposed to like what we normally do is being like, on this date, this sold this fucking amount. That to me, cool. You can Wikipedia that, it's like, I can never talk to Taka from One OK Rock and be like, hey, what album changed your fucking life, bro? Like, what did this mean to you? I don't get that opportunity very often. So, thanks for doing this.
No,
dude.
thank you. Appreciate that.
A little bit. I just want to talk a little bit about what you got coming up, what you're excited about. Like what the fuck's up? What's up with One OK Rock, dude?
My most of like excited things. Like
no, what do you got coming up? You got shows. You got studio. What's up?
For me, like the studio is like different project for me. Even like, making like albums, and then also like after the making album, we're going out tour, right? But tour is like just it's like entertainment for me. So I want to try to some of the people and our fans also like I want to save someone people like life because like I know about like the when people like in the struggle and have a painful how to like get out from this situation. It's tough actually. I know that. So I think it's when listening about like our music that kind of like something connecting like even like when sing in Japanese something. This is the same thing like when I was little, first time listening Green Day, American Idiot. I don't know what is exactly they say that, but I feel it because there's so much energy like on the albums. So I can feel it. So that energy is definitely like help for someone, someone's life.
It's cool that you said that because when before I met you, Rob was talking about you. And I don't mean to talk about Rob like he's not here. He's right here. But he was talking about you. And he was like, dude, when I went to go see them, I was watching this kid in like the front row, like bawling. Like bawling is like losing his shit.
Oh.
And he was like, what he saw in you is that you saw that, or like they were like, hey, this kid like really like, and you just go out and fucking hug him, talk to him, like do this thing. And it's, there's a difference between like getting on stage, performing this stuff, and then your life.
Mm-hmm.
And, you have the opportunity to like change people's lives. And and from what I know of you and from what Rob told me about you, like you take those opportunities to help like and do that. That's a pretty cool thing to do. The fact that you do that and you're aware of it because you do have the opportunity. And I think it's really, I'm pretty like, I don't know what I'm, like I'm not, as I don't know, not humble. I'm like, whatever. You're aware of it, of what the power that like One OK Rock has, and like what music has, and like what you're able to do. And I don't know, it's admirable and really cool. So,
Thanks.
what, as far as like releasing music goes, and when the next shows you have, what do you guys have coming up?
We're still like trolling in North American right now. And actually, like tomorrow, we're going to Houston and Dallas, actually, and more like 13, 12 shows in North America. And after that, we're going back to Japan. We're going to do stadium tour. And after the stadium tour, we're going to Europe until going to be like next year, April or something. Also, next year, like we have an Asian tour too.
Do you
Also Lincoln Park?
Oh yeah,
We're opening
Linkin
to
Park.
yeah, we just kind of forgot the Lincoln Park.
Sorry,
Like,
that's
it's
the
like-
most important actually.
It's like for just casual, like, dude. It's
Yeah.
so it's
80,000 people in Paris.
Oh yeah,
no big deal, dude. Don't even worry about it, dude. Like, what
I'm
do you,
nervous.
are you?
Yeah,
You still get nervous
yeah, always.
before every show?
I mean, kind of. I think it's like a different nervous way. I mean, I'm not really nervous about like singing on the stage. Still like a little afraid, scary sometimes. But if then I say something on the stage, that's gonna be changed to someone's life. That's kind of really scary. That's the only like makes me for like little nervous thing. So I always like focus to do like my job. And my huge theme is actually like, the fans is super powerful because like it's not the only one. So if just the people like around, so many people got, like at the same time, same places, everyone's, like watching for our performance, like, that's actually really scary things. It's not the normal things for me. I mean, definitely it's for everyone. It's not the normal things. So like, I said all the time, especially for the Japanese fans, like if you lose or not, I mean like if then I stop this band, make some music, and not really doing like concert anymore, you have to living your life. So I said, please, not too much follow to the one ok rock,
Right.
because that's your life. This is not like, you know, like my life. So you have to be strong. You have to be like living your life without the even like without the one ok rock songs.
It's funny that you're like, you know, you're playing a 80,000 state, you're doing all of this stuff, and I think it's the fact that you still think about things like that says a lot about you. It says a lot about your band. It says a lot about your personality and like your like what you believe in and what you believe is right.
Yeah.
And I think this is kind of a cool segue for me to ask you, if you're 15-year-old kid right now in America or Japan or wherever the fuck you are, and you're like, I'm gonna start a band.
Okay.
Like, what's like your advice
Okay.
to them?
Actually, I have a really huge theme for the next album. The theme is like actually really good fit to that question, I think. So I think it's now generation people, like when they get start like rock band, they're always thinking about rock, you know? But rock is not a rock. Like rock and roll is like a rock. Means like, you know, rock and roll. So we need to, we need a roll.
We gotta have the fucking roll.
Yes. I think it's that almost the people forget about like a roll things. Just they're thinking about rock. But the rock is not saved to world. Rock and roll is gonna save the world. So definitely we needs to something thinking about more roll.
So you guys fucking hear that? If you're starting a rock and roll band, include the goddamn roll in it.
That's the most important thing I thought.
Dude, well, I think I don't know. I don't mean to look at my phone, but I feel like I want to make sure that I ask all these questions because like I didn't even look at it once. This was so easy and fun and like
Right.
I don't know.
Me too. I have so much fun time.
I think I really had a fucking nice time doing this. Let me see here. I have a personal question. This is not on here, but when you're like writing lyrics and you're trying to rhyme, this is something that this was not on my list of like things that I wanted to ask. It just popped into my head. And I think about this all of the time when I listen to music in other languages, like Spanish music, Japanese music. It's like, do you rhyme for the word that it translates to, or do you rhyme for the syllable that it is? Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what do you?
I know what you're.
Yeah, like what?
I mean, still, I can't do like by myself writing whole English lyrics, but I might have a really good friend. His name is Tyler. He's one of my roommate actually when I living in Los Angeles. So he knows about my personality, whole things. So my thought, my mind, everything. So when I like writing something songs before, me and Tyler is gonna talking a lot. Then like he's gonna, like pick it up my souls and mind. And then he's gonna write that into it.
He's gonna help you like find that word that fits that thing that you're trying to say. Yeah. What a helpful tool to have! Like, what a really, really cool. It's
super like helpful, and also it's tough actually sometimes.
What, to be like that exposed with somebody?
Yes.
To be like, this is what I want to say. Can you help me find the right words to do it?
Even like conversation too. So like now so much better.
Yeah.
Like conversation with the English, but if I can speak Japanese more, I can like explain for anything. But the English is not like my first language, so but I'm still trying.
You're doing a pretty damn good job, dude.
Thank you.
Honestly, like really, pretty damn good. I'm impressed.
I said you're a good interviewer. That's why. So sometimes it happened like when I was like the Warped Tour 2014.
Yeah.
There's so much like small and like easy question to me, but I couldn't take it. So like probably like this is a human things. Like if you have a really good soul, like we can share it. And I'm trying to understand. that's the most important and beautiful things that I think.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. I find it incredibly easy to talk to people that I'm like, this is a good guy.
Yeah.
Like
Respect.
it does. So, all right, man. Well, Rob, you got anything to you want to add here? Because I feel like I feel like we did a good interview.
Yeah, I had it too.
You guys killed it. It was amazing. I thought it was just absolutely so fun, and you guys nailed it. And I couldn't be happier because you went deep. You got new stuff out, and
that was deep actually. That
was
was
fun.
like first time
I was a fan watching.
Dude, that's what we want here. That's what, like, I don't know. I just like, I'm a fan of music. Like I'm a fan of music. I'm a fan of like people and like what they're about and who they are, regardless of like how famous they are, or if it's like a grocery store clerk. Like I am a fan of people.
Right.
I'm interested in people.
Right.
And it just so happens that I work in music. And so I meet a lot of people that work in music.
Right.
And so, I'm just as interested in, I would be just as interested in you if you worked at the grocery store,
Yeah.
but you don't. You happen to be in a very, very, very awesome, huge band. And so, dude, Taka, thank you so much for being here, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate it. And
appreciate it.
Anybody who is watching and One OK Rock is coming to their city, I really, really urge you to go see these guys.
Thanks.
Like,
appreciate it.
let's do that. All right, bro.
Cool.
Let's get out of here. Let's get you to the
That was so
Dodgers
much
game.
Fun. Yeah. Okay. I'm ready.